Hiya, I am Husky Light and I'm going to turn my volume down. There we go. I've not got any feedback now. I can't get used to this new microphone. So I said that I would go through the way I look at 1111, the way I get my angel messages, the way my synchronicity sort of works for me, because I've come to realise over the past few months I've probably got some really good examples, and I've had a really good think about this for the past, because I said I was going to do it and then I thought I don't want to share absolutely everything with you as much as I love you all. There's some things I want to keep to myself, but over the past few months I've sort of because it's so strong with me what I see every day and the way in which my angels and my guides direct me where I need to be to help me with the things that I need. I do have a couple of really good examples, and it once even got pictures. So there we go. So I think the first one I probably want to talk about is a few months ago, probably quite a few months ago now, much earlier on in the year. I decided I'm part of a twin flame, as you know. I didn't quite understand all of that, and I think I got to the point, because my twin flame was running, that I thought, oh sod this, I'm going to go and date. Yeah, it's not going to work. Didn't happen. But anyway, I met a guy on a spiritual website, because I thought, right, well, he's got to be bound to have loads of stuff in common with me and all the rest of it. And we emailed a couple of times, but there was nothing. So I just thought, I'm just not going to fall for anybody. While I have a twin flame, it's not going to happen. But we did have a really good chat, and there was a lot of things going on around me at the time which was still probably scaring me. I had messages coming up. I was seeing 1111, I was seeing 2222, I was seeing all sorts of numbers going on every time I saw a car registration, and there was still a lot of things that were freaking me out because I still didn't quite understand what was going on. Now, one of the things I saw when I was waking up, I kept seeing things about hunting and hunters, and I could not figure it out at all. I did not know what it meant. I didn't know what my angels were trying to tell me. I also, at the time, very recently sort of heard about my chakras and my chakras opening, and thought, right, this is what's happened. I've had this massive awakening, all my chakras have opened at the same time, but I still didn't quite get what all that meant, to a certain extent. Anyway, it's one particular day, I was freaking out, thinking about my twin flame, wanting to speak to him and all the rest of it, and trying to avoid it, and trying to avoid the situation, trying to avoid him. And I briefly spoke to this guy, and I said, I need to get out the house. I said, I've had enough. I'm just surrounded by all these messages and everything that I don't understand what's happening, and I just can't cope with it anymore at the moment. And he said he lived in Nottingham, and he said, come over to Nottingham for the day. I live right next to the river, no pressure, just come over, chill out. We can have a nice sort of spiritual chat, because he understood what I was talking about at the time. And I thought, you know what, that sounds just brilliant. Just get out, have a break, go somewhere different, get a change of scenery, nothing involved. We knew automatically that there was just no way we were going to even go out on a date or anything like that. But we were just two awakened people, sort of swapping ideas and what we'd heard about and what the other had heard about and what they understood and what our beliefs were and everything else. So I said, right, okay, bugger it, I'm coming over. So I drive all the way over to Nottingham. All the way over there, I'm sort of thinking, should I really be doing this? Should I, and the amount of times I wanted to turn back and thought, this is just stupid. I'm going back home. I'm going to go and sit in my little house where I'm where I'm not safe, but because there's all this stuff going on. But this is daft. Anyway, I didn't. I went down. Lovely guy. Not my type at all, didn't start dating, anything like that, but we had a really good chat, and he showed me what what he does for meditation. He taught me how to do self Reiki, to see which of my chakras were blocked, all that sort of thing, and I had a really chilled out day. Now the really strange thing was that as soon as I arrived at his, he lived right next to a river, and there was houseboats on the river. Right next to his place on the river was a boat called Hunter's Moon, and I kept staring at it all day going, there's that word again, there's that hunters, what does that mean, what does that mean? And I did not know what a hunter's moon was. While I was there staring at it, it suddenly dawned on me that a hunter's moon is the full moon that the hunters used to hunt their prey by at night, and in October, and October is my birth month as well, and I'm going to do a separate video on the harvest moon, the hunter's moon, the blood moon, and my angels and my guides were trying to tell me that my energies and the way I work is through the phases of the moon. And this is what they were trying to, because I kept seeing foxes everywhere as well, which is another thing that the hunters used to hunt around that time. So it suddenly dawned on me, and I thought, and the timing is October, which we are, we'll be there in a couple of months, a month or so. We'll be into October, and it's my birthday month, so it'll be quite interesting to see what's happening. Anyway, also while I was there, I was saying, I've got all my chakras open, and now what am I supposed to do now? And it's all really strange. And along his windowsill he had so many books. I've never seen so many books about meditation and chakras, Buddhism, Hinduism, everything. And I sat there, and I grabbed a book off the shelf. I opened the book, and immediately I opened the book, it just happened to fall on exactly the right page in exactly the right place. My eyes fell on exactly the right sentence which I needed, which was basically, you have had a Kundalini awakening where all your chakras are. And suddenly the word Kundalini, I went, what the hell's that? And as soon as I started reading, as I say, I was on the right page in the right place, the whole thing just fell into place and made complete sense. And seeing the houseboat outside called Hunter's Moon, again, just suddenly I had a download of information. I went, oh my god, I know what all this means. Finally, I've had the answers. I know what it, and the only reason I went to that place and spent time with him that day was for me, for my angels and my guides to be able to give me the information I needed in order to move forward on my path, for me to be able to understand what was going on, because I wasn't really working it out on my own. I needed a little bit of help, and they brought this guy in to help me, who said, yeah, come and chill out at mine for the day, get a change of scenery, everything's fine. And he just happened to have that book on that shelf that fell open on the right page. So at that point it was like, fantastic, I know exactly what's going on. It's brilliant. And because what also happened as well, which was really strange, he said, do you want to sleep over on the settee, do you want to stay over? And I sort of thought about it, and he said, oh, we'll get Chinese and whatever, carry on talking, nothing at all in it. But I think I went to get something out of the car, and as I opened his front door, a huge gust of wind flew past, and literally the door come flying back, and hit, sort of caught my temples on either side, and literally smacked my head. I smacked my head between the door and the door frame, and good God, it hurt so much. And I had my head was bleeding to the point where my head was bleeding, and it was my guides and angels saying, there's not a chance you're staying over here, you're going home now, you've come here, you've learnt what you needed to learn, you need to leave now. That's all the information he's got for you. There is no more information you need to learn from him. You are a twin flame, get out of there, that's it. And that was my best, and it was done in quite a strong way. And in my head nothing was going to happen anyway, but you never know, maybe in their head, I don't know. But it did, and it smacked my head. I thought, oh my god. I said, no, I'm going to go now. Thank you very much. My head hurts like crazy, but it's time for me to go now, because I had learned everything that I needed to. The only sole reason I needed to go there and be there was to see that book, read it, those few pages, for me to understand what I needed to, and also to see that boat again, or see the name Hunters, but accompanied by moon after it, Hunter's Moon. So instead of me just being shown hunting and foxes and deer and guns, which was all part of the hunting thing and the Hunter's Moon they were trying to show me, because I wasn't getting that. I was like, what? Yeah, I don't get this bit. When I saw it with Hunter's Moon after, the whole thing just made complete sense to me. So that was one example. I don't have pictures of that, I'm afraid, but a really good one that I do have, though, has only happened in the past month or so, and I'm going to put pictures in between. I've got an old, where's my phone? I don't have a fancy phone. I can't be bothered with them. I don't think they're good for you particularly. So I've got an old Nokia thing. It doesn't take pictures, it doesn't do anything. It calls people, it texts people, which is all I need it to do, really. It's not that I can't afford to go and get a brand new, well, I can't actually, but you know what I mean. I don't want one with all the buttons. I have an iPad, I have the internet here, so that's all I need, is just a phone to text or call people if I need to. Anyway, on the front of this phone, it says, well, at the moment it's got the date on the front of it, and sometimes it'll say Vodafone on the front of it, and sometimes it will come up with 0113, which is my area code, my telephone area code when I'm at home. It's what, you know, my landline and everything, it's the area code, and it comes up on the phone. So a few weeks ago, it decided that it wasn't going to come up with my normal area code. It came up with 01977, 01977, and here's the picture. So I kept looking at it thinking, why has it got a different telephone code on it? Why is it, because 01977 is a telephone code, but it's for way away, and I'm thinking, well, why is that code on my phone while I'm at home? Why is it not saying 0113 like it's supposed to? And it kept bugging me, and I started seeing either 01977 or 1977, 1977 everywhere, and it was starting to drive me a little bit crazy. As it does, because I thought, well, again, I don't have the answer for this. They're trying to tell me something. I knew they were trying to tell me something, my guides and my angels, but again, I didn't know what it was. You don't always know automatically. It will come to you eventually, as I'm going through now. Anyway, so my phone is showing this, and I didn't know what it meant. Then we have a stray cat that we feed, and it's got a really bad skin problem. It's allergic to something or other, and it was not looking well at all. I already have dogs and cats, as you know, which cost a fortune in their own right. I couldn't afford to take this cat to a vet's, and I was speaking to my next door neighbour about it, and she said, have you tried looking up whatever cat charity? I said, well, no, I haven't. I said, I'll have a look later and see if I can get any sort of help. Anyway, came in, I was doing other stuff. I watched, still seeing this 1977 around. I watched a video on YouTube, and the guy had a t-shirt on with 1977 written on it, and I'm thinking, I oh God, there's that 19, what is that? What is it? What are you trying to tell me? Anyway, there's the picture of that. Okay, so that's the picture of the guy with the t-shirt with the 1977 on. So I'm still trying to figure out, not knowing what that means. Anyway, in the meantime, I thought, right, I need to try and find some sort of cat charity that I can get some vet help for, with this cat who's really not so well at the moment, who needs treatment, and I can't afford to go and do it. So I typed in cat charities and my area into Google, and I've taken a photo of that as well to show you, because the second one down on it is a cat charity that was established in 1977, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, that's the charity to call. So I called that charity, and immediately they got me an appointment with the vets, providing I could get hold of this cat and get it over to the vets, and they gave it free treatment. And as far as I can see, he's doing really, really well now. So, and he's also going back in a couple of weeks as well to get some more treatment, paid for by the cat charity. So that is what my guides and my angels were trying to guide me towards, was the fact that I can get this cat treated and cared for and get it the medicine it needs if I follow them. So although I didn't know what 1977 was at first, immediately I saw that, I absolutely knew what they'd been trying to tell me all along. They do it in, they don't they don't come down and say, look, listen to us. This is what you need to do. They send you little signs and signals, and then you think, sometimes you understand exactly what it is and it's guiding you in the right direction, and other times you're thinking, I really don't understand what that means. What is that? But then you will get the answer. It will come to you because you're then guided to the answer, or guided to where you need to be. So I went and got the cat treated. Everything was fine, and immediately I got the cat treated. My phone, that 01977 that had been on my phone for ages, in the picture it's got the date on it, and I don't think that was the first day it appeared. I think that was a while later, when I just thought, I need to take a picture of this because there's something wrong, or something they're trying to tell me, so I'm just going to take a picture of it with the 01977 on it. My phone now is showing the correct code. It's gone back to 0113, which is the correct area code for where I live in my house. So it's back to normal. As soon as I'd taken that cat to the vets, that number, the 01977, just disappeared and reappeared with my number, because I had followed the guidance, been guided to where I needed to go, and it had been done. They had no reason. I probably won't see 1977 again now, because that message is done, that guidance is done for that particular thing that I needed help with. So this is how they do it. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how it works. With regards to the guy that's turned up in New York, with the off-grid, with the land for the off-grid retreat. Now I'm putting up some pictures for that soon, but I'm holding off on it because we're still in Venus retrograde, and I just want to get over that, which is over in September, before I put them up, because he appeared on a blue moon, sorry, on the last blue moon that we had, which is once in a blue moon something happens, and that is when he turned up, and offered me the land. Now that is another story which I'll go into probably in another video, because that's that's quite a story in itself, which is and I knew he was coming, and I did eventually realise that what he was saying to me was correct, because again, my guides and angels had been giving me hints, had been telling me that this guy was going to turn up with the land. I just didn't know it at the time. So, and one example, I'm not going to give all the examples of that, but one example of that was my twin flame redecorated his living room quite a few months ago now, in New York wallpaper, with New York written all over the wallpaper, and I kept seeing New York everywhere. Plus my twin flame lives in York, plus plus I have a Ford Focus car, which was bought last year, only a second-hand thing. It's what it gets me about and everything, which is the main thing. The guy in New York who's given us kindly, he's going to help with the retreat and everything, as a sideline, fixes up Ford make cars for a living as a sideline and sells them. Just Fords, no other type of car, just the make Ford, which is mine. And also my twin flame also fixes cars on the side. It's one of his hobbies. He's very good at fixing cars, and so is this guy in New York that's offered me the land. So although it's a little bit confusing, as soon as he told me and all that started fitting together, I went, oh, okay, I've been told about this for months. I knew you were coming, but until it actually happens and things fall into place, there are times when you look around and think, what are these messages coming through? What is it? What does all of this mean that's coming through? And just because of all the signs and everything, again, he is somebody who's going to help me with the retreat and nothing else. He is repaying a past karma, pretty much. From what he remembers, I saved him in our last life together. I saved him in World War One, whereas I was a nurse, and I saved him in France over there, and there's a lot of other hints about that as well. But he saw me on YouTube, nearly dropped, because apparently he's dreamt of me on and off for years from this past life. So he automatically knew when he saw me why he saw me, and it was basically to help me out in this lifetime because I helped him out in the last time. So it's karma, it's what goes around comes around, it's repayment of things that have happened in the past, because we all have lived before. So it is, that sounds a little bit strange, but I'm not going into the full story because I want to keep some things private. Need to keep things other people's privacy as well, so I can only say so much of things. But again, it's when that happens and he turned up, and then everything just clicks and you go, oh, I've got a Ford car, and there's New York wallpaper, and there's this and there's that and everything, and it's not coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's not coincidences, for those of you who are awake and go through this yourself on a daily basis. When you manifest stuff, you are sent all these signs and signals, and just follow them. Just go with your gut instinct and go, I keep seeing that number, I keep seeing that symbol, I keep hearing those words. It means something, it's important. What is it? And follow it and go through with it. And you will get the answers through, and you will realize where they were trying to guide you and what your guides and angels are trying to do to help you on a day-to-day basis. When you've got a problem with something, they will come in and help you, and they will guide you to find the answer that you need in order to get that help, in order to do that thing that you want to do, in order to manifest what you need to. So yeah, I don't think there is so many things as well, but it's very, very difficult for me to put it into a logical format so that you can actually understand it. These two particular examples are quite sort of easy to relate, relay back to you and explain to you what I've been through tonight, but it is very strange sometimes the way things work. My friend out in Detroit who has gone over to New York to help the guy with the land. I also knew she was going to arrive into my life, but again, I was being given all of these signs and symbols, but didn't know until she turned up and thought, you're part of my soul group, you're here to help. And by her helping me, by going out there, she has also managed to turn her own life around. She's left a home, she's left somewhere that she didn't want to be. She was stuck, she was trapped, she felt trapped. She has broken out of that box that she was in, and I'm so proud of her for what she's done. She has completely changed her life around, and she is now in New York. Now, she's not personally working with the guy on the land at the moment because he's gone off on an emergency somewhere, actually the day that she arrived. So it may be that maybe she's not there to work with him on the land to make the retreat. Maybe the reason that we met, maybe the reason that she was under the or got the idea that she was going to go over there and help, was for her to be able to change her life, for her to be able to move forward in her life and completely transform her life, which she is now doing in the most amazing way. For her to drive all that way from Detroit to New York, only to find a few hours later when she'd got there that unfortunately the guy she's supposed to be staying with to do the land had to be dragged out on an emergency to Georgia, and leave her, and she couldn't stay there. She ended up in the centre of New York, and since she's been in the centre of New York, she's now applying for courses to go on. She's applying for a job. Her whole life is changing. And maybe that was the whole reason that we met, was to give her that push that she needed to go and change her life in a way that she would never have done had we never ever connected, even though she'd thought about it. Maybe she needed a reason to leave where she was, even though that wasn't the real reason that she was leaving. She thought she had a reason to leave. And she has, and she probably will, help out with the land and everything because she is in New York now, but her life is changed immeasurably, or is changing immeasurably because of that connection. Now, I realised that she was coming along because my twin flame has a husky, just like I do. I have two of them, he's got one of them, and it's called Cookie. And he lives in a place called York, which is New York, and also we have a TV show over here called the Jeremy Kyle Show, which is some sort of silly talk show thing. It's a little bit like the Oprah Winfrey Show, but the English version, with a guy called Jeremy Kyle, and which is something I used to sit down and watch actually a long time ago with my twin and everything. When my friend in Detroit, who's gone to New York, arrived, when she first emailed me, I immediately looked at her email address and thought, oh my goodness me, we're meant to be connected somehow. I just don't know, because her email was kyle.cookie, and I won't tell you the rest, but it was kyle.cookie, which was just like the biggest in your face, so much more than coincidence thing to happen. So I knew automatically that there was a reason behind this, because I'd already been told for a long time that this was coming, but I didn't know what it was at the time until she actually sent me that email and I saw that email address. I thought, oh, okay, now this is it. So this is, and you just follow it, and things come through, things fall into place that you need to fall into place when you need help with something. You'll think you're not getting any help with anything, and you're asking your angels, and you're thinking nothing's happening. I'm not getting any answers through. But then you'll start to see signs and symbols, and certain emails will come through, or people will subscribe to me. And when they subscribe, they'll come through at 11:11 or something, and I know automatically that there is something within the name of the subscriber, or within maybe a liked video that you've watched or something, that will mean something immeasurable to me, that will give me the answer to something that I'm looking for at the moment. It will be help from my guides and angels coming in, and it can work like that. It can work with things that I watch, it can work with numbers, it can work with all bits of conversation, all sorts of things. But when it starts to actually fit together in the way that it does, and then it all just clicks, and you think, that's what they were trying to tell me, because now you've led me in that my guides and angels have led me in that direction. I've got to that point, everything's clicked into place, so I now understand what's going on, and you can look back at it and go, wow, this is amazing. This is how it works. This is what it's like to follow your guides and angels. So always, always, when you're seeing something, it doesn't matter if you don't understand it to start with, just trust. Just absolutely trust them, because they are doing the highest good for you. They can see ahead in time. They know what's around the corner, and they can give you hints and tips as to what's around the corner. But until you get round that corner, after following their guidance, and then everything just falling into place, the puzzles fitting together, the jigsaw done, before you move on to something else, you can think, wow, it was them helping me. So I hope that this, I'm trying to think if there are anything else, because I wrote down so many bits and pieces the other day. So many different things. It was like the 888 gate when I did the video about that, and if you haven't seen it, go and have a look. I bought 2 stone lines for my front porch last year and placed them there. I grew my hedge into an arc over my gate, into a rainbow shape, you know, like an archway. Had no idea until I learned and thought 888, the gate, the Leo, the lion, and everything fell into place again. They were trying to tell me that this particular date this year was coming up, and how important it was, and what the energy would be like, and how important it was to get through it positively, in order for, you know, further things to happen, and for me to continue on my path and have more opportunities come to me. So again, that I'm so grateful and thankful to them. They're amazing. Some of you watching this will think she's cooked, she's daft, I'm not. Until it is so difficult to try and explain what happens unless you're in my head, or unless you're in somebody else's head. It's just so difficult. I hope that I've been able to explain it in finally, or to more of an extent that you really do sort of understand how it can work sometimes, and it will work differently for everybody. But as I said when I did the video the other day on awakening symptoms, there is a lot of awakening symptoms that I think we all do go through, that are all very, very similar, like seeing owls and everything, which I did, and a lot of other people have done, seeing the Eye of Horus, seeing Egyptian symbols, all that sort of thing as well. They're all hints and tips to say, hey, come on, wake up. Can you see what's going on around you? We're helping you. But it's very difficult to try and explain it. It's the only way I can think of to explain it. When I suddenly realised, I thought, hang on a minute, I've got pictures here. I can't prove it, because of course still somebody might come back and say, what a load of tosh, it's just a coincidence. That's how coincidences work. No, it's synchronicity. It's how synchronicity works. It's how being in a line with your angels works, how following the guidance works, because nobody on this earth can have A coincidence is something that happens occasionally. When it happens on a day-to-day basis, though, and then comes together, that's not coincidence. And those of you who know what I'm talking about and have gone through this in different ways know exactly what I'm saying. Thank goodness. So, and I suppose it's taken me a long time to get to this point where I can say, look, this is how crackers my life can seem on a day-to-day basis, and to anyone from the outside looking in, they can go, woo! But from my point of view, I'm being guided in the right direction. I'm going in the right direction that I need to be going in to learn about hunters' moons and blood moons and seeing foxes and hunting and guns and that sort of thing well over a year ago, as well as all the New York stuff well over a year ago, Hobbit houses well over a year ago, when I was going through my awakening thinking, what the hell's all this that I'm seeing? And then over a year later, and for the Hobbit houses in the land and the retreat, suddenly literally somebody to appear on a blue moon and say, hey, have 20 acres. That is synchronicity in one of its finest forms, probably. It's just amazing. So I hope you understand this. Any questions, bung them below. I think I've done it in a pretty logical way, in the most logical way I can think of doing it anyway. So namaste, blessings and light. I hope this helps. And it's an interesting, even if you don't quite understand it yet, even if you're not quite seeing it yourself, because you will. I mean, this is over a year. Some of this stuff with the New York and everything happened like over a year ago, and for it to suddenly start to come to fruition over a year later, once I've fully got through my awakening, is very, very amazing. And to be able to put them together is amazing. And I'm just thinking, actually, I don't know when I bought when that car was bought last year, that Ford that I'm driving round with, but I know it was around exactly this time last year, because I just put the insurance on it about a month ago. When was the blue moon? So we're talking nearly a year to the day that somebody comes into my life after getting the car, after seeing all the New York stuff, after dreaming about Hobbit houses and talking about them and wanting to go off grid and get in a retreat. Almost a year to the day, somebody suddenly turns up and says, I have a retreat, I have land that you can go and build on to fulfill that dream in New York. And yes, I'm a mechanic. I work on Ford cars. No other cars, just Fords. Same as my twin flame over here does. You can't get any more synchronistic than that, I don't think. So, right, namaste, blessings and light. Enjoy. Questions below. Take care.